Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. Sure. Batch Apex in Salesforce is a powerful tool that allows you to process large volumes of records asynchronously. It is particularly useful for operations that require handling millions of records without hitting governor limits, as it processes records in manageable chunks. Below is a comprehensive tutorial on Batch Apex, including its key components, a code example, and best practices. Overview of Batch Apex. Batch Apex allows you to process records in batches asynchronously, handle large data volumes without hitting Salesforce governor limits, use the database.batchable interface to define the batch operation. Key components. 1. Batch class. This is a class that implements the database.batchable interface. 2. Start method. This method is responsible for collecting the records that need to be processed. It returns a query locator or an iterable. 3. Execute method. This method processes each batch of records. It accepts a list of records, or a set of records, from the start method. 4. Finish method. This method executes after all batches have been processed. You can perform post-processing tasks here, such as sending notifications or logging. Code example. Here's a simple example of a Batch Apex class that updates the status of opportunity records based on certain criteria. Batch Apex class. Apex. Global class update opportunity status. Batch implements database.batchable subject, database.stateful. Global database.querylocator start, database.batchable context bc. / query to get all opportunities that need to be updated. Return database.getQueryLocator, select ID, stage name from opportunity where stage name equals / prospecting /. Global void execute, database.batchable context bc, list opportunity scope. / update the stage of opportunities in the current batch. 4. Opportunity op, scope. Op.stage name equals qualification, / change status to qualification. / perform update in a single DML operation. Update scope. Global void finish, database.batchable context bc. / optional, send an email notification or log the completion. System.debug, batch processing is complete. How to execute the batch. You can execute the batch class from the developer console, Anonymous Apex, or even from a trigger. Executing from Anonymous Apex. Apex. Update opportunity status batch equals new update opportunity status batch. Database.execute batch 200, / 200 is the batch size. Best practices. 1. Batch size, choose an appropriate batch size. The default is 200, but you can adjust it based on your needs, up to 2000. Smaller batch sizes can help avoid hitting governor limits. 2. Stateful interface, if you need to maintain state across transactions, example to count processed records, implement the database.stateful interface. 3. Testing, always write test classes for your Batch Apex. Ensure that you cover all scenarios and that your batch processes correctly. 4. Error handling, include error handling in the execute method to manage exceptions. Use try-catch blocks and consider implementing a logging mechanism. 5. Chaining batches, you can chain batches by calling another batch from the finish method of the current batch. 6. Monitoring and debugging, use the Apex job queue and debug logs to monitor batch jobs. You can view the status of batch jobs in setup under Apex jobs. 7. Governor limits, be aware of governor limits and design your batch processing logic to avoid hitting them. Batch Apex allows you to process more records within the limits due to its asynchronous nature. Conclusion: Batch Apex is a great way to handle large volumes of data in Salesforce efficiently. By implementing the database.batchable interface, you can create robust solutions that scale with your organization's needs. Always remember to follow best practices for optimal performance and maintainability.